Hello, and welcome to day four of our Revenue Acceleration Masterclass. It's good to see people coming back. People have been with us for the whole time that we started. So please just tell us where you're joining us again. You're joining us from again, and we'll get started. Super cool. Excellent. Just checking that everything is okay. People are joining us from joining us on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Cool. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Excellent. Seeing people joining in. Um, we have people both on Facebook and on YouTube. Just confirming. Please type in the chat box. Let us know how you're doing. And yes, we got Kapasa joining us from London. Excellent. How are you doing, Mopao? Mopao Mokonzi. Cool. Seeing more people joining. That's good. That's good. So please indicate how many of you have been here for the whole period. If you've been here for all the four sessions, type 4 in the chat box. If you've been here just for two sessions, type 2. If you're here for the first time, type 1. Cool. Great. Excellent. Seeing, yeah. Hey, Gary. Hey, Danny. Franklin. Hello. Eliakim, hello. Budani, Kapasa, Gary. Okay, Kapasa has been here the whole session 4 days. Gary has been here for 4 days. Let us know how many people have been here for all 4 days. And whatever number you've been, Matilda has been, Michelle has been. Excellent. Eliakim Lumbuka, 3. Great. Excellent. Bakanyi, how you doing? It's good to see you back. 4 times. Paul, 2. Franklin, 2. Sandy, so 4. Excellent. It's good to see you. See everybody back. And well done for staying on the program for this long and for showing your enthusiasm, like you want to learn and you want to accelerate your revenue for 2021. Cool. How many of you have done that exercise? Like what the number you want to hit for next year? Just type, if you have got your figure in your mind, let me know by just typing 1 in the chat box, and I see who's got their figure in their mind that they want to hit a certain revenue target by this time next year. Excellent. So Okay, cool. I should be back. I muted myself by accident. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Michelle. I pushed the wrong button. End of year, end of week, end of month, end of beginning of the month. Cool. Um, we talked about breaking your annual goals. Okay, breaking your annual goals into quarters, and then I should be back now. I should be back. I should be back. We talked about the formula for hitting your numbers, which is you take your annual goals, break them down into quarters, and then you have monthly activities and monthly reviews. Then you also have your weekly reviews and daily activities. Those are the steps that you take in trying to hit your revenue goals. And then when you're checking that weekly, you know whether you're on track or not to get to your actual deal size. And then cool. And then we also talked about how you do your your 3-line pitch, your customer pitches. Okay, cool. Just double checking. Is everybody okay? You can all hear me fine? Cool. Okay, cool. All right. And then the bigger question for all of you is like, why are you doing this? Why are you on this program? And why did you start a business? What do you want? What do you want to hit? What do you want to achieve? That's very important. That's an important thing that you need to think about all the time. So, by way of introduction, for those of you who are joining for the first time, my name is Sandra Spiri. I'm the CEO and founder of StartupCircles.ai, Africa's #1 startup school. And our aim is to help people. Our aim is to help people gain access to world-class mentors and access to uh, capital in order to build companies that change their lives, change the, change their communities' lives, as well as build economies. That's our mission. And so what we've done is, and how this came about for me was learning from different people, various coaches and trainers, and doing several different programs around the world. I've done the MBA at UCT. I did a program called iLab in Bali for a month. I've been to Tony Robbins events. I've been to John DeMartini's program, lots of them. I've paid for lots of different programs, and including on how to launch and how to sell and all of these things. And for me, it's like, why don't they teach selling in business school? And this is a problem that we see, that a lot of people know about marketing, but they don't know about selling. And this is a gap we felt that we need to teach people. And that is why I'm teaching this class for free. And thereafter, we're going to have a bonus session, but also going to invite some people, those ones who are ready to say, look, I've learned this, but I think that I need to work with another group of like-minded people to make things happen. And then we'll get into that. But our mission at Startup Circles is to help you build big, scalable businesses, because we believe that big businesses have the power to change people's lives, and it's big businesses that really change people's lives. So I know that there is a myth saying that small businesses are the ones that generate a lot of wealth, but actually it's not true. Okay, a lot of people are small businesses and they are self-employed, and well as small business, they can cover themselves, but it's big businesses that generate a lot of wealth and revenue for lots of people. And a lot of people working for big business then can get big salaries and all of those type of things. But so we believe that instead of just looking after ourselves in small businesses, we should grow big businesses so we can look after other people and help other people and develop our continent. These are some of the people I've worked with and some of the customer feedback we've got. This is Jean. She is the founder of Feed That Bird Communications, and here in Cape Town. Says, as a young entrepreneur, business decisions are especially daunting. I met Sanders at the watershed moment in my life. in my business, when navigating difficult business choices became particularly challenging. His immense knowledge and ability to translate challenges into growth, together with his skill of seeing obstacles from a bird's eye view, has provided me with a clear path to business success. I can honestly say that I have more confidence in myself and my business with Sandra's guidance. And just to set the scene, I'll just have a little bit of conversation from Kaylee, one of the people that we have worked with. She started out as startup circles, and she started out in trying to grow a company, and then she had to work on attraction that matters in order to build a great company. And she managed to raise investment at the end of the program, which was super, super cool. So we'll have a short version of. Hi, Kelly. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Sandras?
I'm good. I'm good. Excellent.
I like your t-shirt.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. One of my faves. They told me orange actually is the color that usually goes very well with me. So I love orange.
AI, nice. Merch.
Kelly, tell us about your business.
Sure. So I am one of 3 founders at Aya Africa. Aya is like an Etsy, although we will differentiate in the way we approach sales. But it's a marketplace that allows small-scale creative goods makers to own a shop or to control a shop within a bigger e-commerce framework. Yeah.
And what's
Aya in a nutshell.
Okay, what's the URL? What's your website address?
You'll find us at aya.africa.
That's it, AYA.Africa.
Yes, and Aya means mother, so you can see where we're going. Aya.Africa, Mother Africa.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
Tell us about your journey so far with Aya. When did you start on Aya?
So I started something called Artisans in Africa in 2016, which was what Aya originated from. And it was to bring artisans, grassroots artisans, onto the digital arena because it was such a widespread existing skill set in South Africa. And we worked with that for about 3 years. COVID hit, couldn't reach any of our artisans. And then we saw the need that a lot of guys that were making products were actually struggling because of there was no sales outlet, because there was not the tourist inflow to major markets like Watershed, Neighbor Goods, and other such markets in South Africa. So these guys were not ready to pivot to digital, and they were taking quite a lot of strain. We've seen a lot of businesses shut down in the space. And so we pivoted from looking at the grassroots aspects of the sector to all people and saying, okay, well, we'll build a platform that allows guys to put their products on. So it's very democratic. Anybody can bubble to the surface. We don't want to control that, but we will build the tech infrastructure that allows people to sell like a safe house while they're figuring e-commerce out.
Brilliant. And what has been the journey so far, like this year?
So we were, it was myself and my partner, Nee Amar. We both studied business science at UCT. Nee is one of my good friends from Ghana. We studied for 4 years and we were always going to work together, but we only made it official 2 years ago. So Nee and I have been hustling on AIA together, and we were missing a creative director. So talk about divine intervention or whatever you want to call it. But from New York this year flew Isabella, who's a creative director, who's worked for some of the top brands in New York. She's gone to one of the top design schools in the world. And she contacted us and she said she wants to work with us. And we were like, that's great, but we can't pay you. We can't pay you. You know, you've been in very high-powered jobs in New York. Like, we're a startup in South Africa. We're dealing in rural areas. We can't pay you. And she just didn't stop. I was very transparent with her. I said, look, you know, we would love to work with you, but we can't afford you, basically. And she said, no, she wants to join us anyway. So that was quite a remarkable breakthrough, to have someone from across the world want to join the mission because they're buying into the vision, right? And so we couldn't pay her. So we said, cool, well, just join us from a shareholding perspective, because if you believe in it, you know, you're going to be the perfect person to carry this thing forward. So that was amazing. It was also quite interesting to form a team with a new member digitally. So I met her in person. She flew out. She came and stayed with me in Transkei for 1 week, like the stranger,
Mhm.
very great stranger from across the world. And
Nice.
she was supposed to stay in South Africa and she left because of COVID. So it was a bit unsettling, but we gained a new team member, which was amazing. And what happened was, because we were all stuck in our houses, we actually worked hard. There was no distraction. So I think COVID was actually a blessing for Aya as a startup, because it allowed us to really put in the hours. No one was going anywhere. We were sitting on meetings, and that allowed us to kind of get the team going. So yeah, it's been tough. We also did lose one team member. I'm not going to mention names, but that's startup. You gain some, you lose some, and you also have to be. We realized that the people that are involved had to be committed to the vision, because it's hard work. I mean, it's more than. Yeah, it's more than, we haven't earned money. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this on camera, but this is an informal interview. So we're very much a startup, and people at the moment are driven by what we're going to do. We've got the right team now, which is very exciting. And then obviously it's kind of all working out this year. It's amazing. And then we pitched investment, and we actually won, much to my surprise. We did actually win the pre-seed. So yeah, we went in the Startup Circles program, which helped us visionary creative types refine it to be able to speak to people that understand numbers.
And so much in it. And if I'm to ask you about, before deciding to enroll into Startup Circles, what was your big skepticism or hesitation?
Did I have a hesitation before enrolling? So I actually applied for the Shift Fund, because I wanted to change the world during a revolution that I thought was happening in the world. Well, it is a minor revolution at the moment, because everybody's listening. So I thought it would be a good time to launch a business now with a bit of a difference. So I saw the Shift Fund. So I didn't actually have a hesitation. I'm a bit, my personality seems to more learn when I'm in things. So I did it, and then I realized, wow, this is actually really hard. But then I just got more and more committed. So I actually maybe don't always, I don't always see, like, I don't really have a hesitation, if that makes sense.
Great. And what impact will Startup Circles program have in your business or your life in the next 12 months? What do you think that will do for you?
Well, we hopefully going to pass due diligence to get investment, and then trial a range of A/B digital advertising. So we really need to use it to trial ads in like a research capacity. So we need to actually figure out where our market lies, right? So it will definitely allow us to assess where the market lies. But it's also just really amazing to have a sounding board. So it's amazing to know that there's people that know what you're doing, that understand what you're doing, that you can reach out to and say, hey, you know what, we're really stuck here, or we needing to understand this part of the business, and if you have investors that are invested in it, well, then it makes it, and also coaching, it makes it a much more of a no-brainer, right? So you all working together. So look, I hope we go into Founders Forum and learn more of the detailed aspects of business. From our side, I gather it would be like a lot of digital advertising stuff that I hope we learn about, how to lower that customer acquisition cost, but also the softer skills I think you learn in situations like this. And it's also a mental game. And when you're surrounded by other entrepreneurs, they reaffirm that it's normal.
Yeah.
That's the main part, is to not surround yourself by people, I would say, that are saying, don't do this. Don't give it a try. But by people who say, do it, but here are the boundaries. So it's wild. It is a crazy thing to do entrepreneurship, but here's how.
Yes, and you're absolutely right. Like, entrepreneurship can be lonely, and so you have people who understand you, say you're not crazy. And those, when you're going through a law, you have other people like me too, and that was yesterday. But look, do this, and we all go.
It's as you say, in those big offices where people work, there's a bunch of chartered accountants, and there's a bunch of lawyers, and there's a bunch of guys all dealing with certain aspects of a case. But entrepreneurship will never lend itself to that, because you're solving a totally different problem, right? So unless you bring like all of the people together that are solving a similar problem, which usually it won't be, because you won't solve something that other person's solving, because then you'd be like too much competing directly. So I think it's you're a lot on your own, figuring stuff out, being
Yeah.
rejected. So stuff I can.
The story of the entrepreneur. And what,
Rejected.
yes. And Kelly, what would you say to someone who's considering joining or signing up to Startup Circles, but they're on the fence right now?
Yeah, do it, do it, do it. Because if you're going to do a business, this is only the start. So if you can get through the Startup Circles program and you still want to do it, then at least you know you're on the right track. I
Mm,
think entrepreneurship is very romanticized with a lot of the advertising in South Africa. Those big whiskey brands, they like to put entrepreneurs at the face, drinking whiskey, doing their thing, and behind the scenes is very different. So I
yeah.
think do the program that makes it somewhat more realistic. And then if you still want to do it after that, you know it's the right thing for you. But I think, yeah, you need the realistic understanding. And the Startup Circles gives you what you're actually going to be doing, I would say. But
Mm,
not it's not dragged out in a textbook. It's like practical short course. You will know I want to do this, or you will actually know my idea has traction, or my idea I need to change.
mm,
So
absolutely.
Startup Circles is going to force you not to waste your time, which is good. I think we're moving into the world where entrepreneurship is going to be one of the main careers. Just within the fourth industrial revolution, I do think a lot of the jobs are going to be being replaced with tech. So a lot of the conventional professional jobs. So I think a lot of the professionals need to start thinking in the realm of entrepreneurship. So how do you use the existing tech systems that are being built to piece them? Now it's like a puzzle. You don't actually have to build your own tech, but you have to piece them together into new solutions that better serve humanity than the prior industrial revolution. So yeah, that's my understanding of where we're at in the world at the moment. And I think it's really exciting, but I just hope that the people that become entrepreneurs and obviously start building the new systems are thinking of inclusivity, especially in Africa. So become an entrepreneur now is a good time to do it. The digital divide is real. We need social entrepreneurs in South Africa, and there's a lot of gaps. So yeah, do it. It's hard, but it's also going to be the only job of the future. So I think you should start sooner than later.
Excellent. How cool is that? Like Kelly is amazing. Um, so Kelly has gone on now to build Aya, and they are now getting very good traction. And there are a lot of other people that we've worked with where we guide them or we give them, we hold their hands, and then they help them just hit the numbers, hit the numbers. That's what we do. Cool. Excellent. So now we're going to go through the revenue acceleration blueprint by Startup Circus. With this one, the first step would be define, refine your niche. We talked about this at the beginning. I hope you got your pens and paper. We talked about this at the beginning where we're saying that you're not growing fast enough because you're not ready to grow fast enough. And the challenge is that you haven't nailed a niche. And that niche doesn't mean small. Niche just means very specific, very clear. And when you choose a niche, you're very clear who you want and who you don't want. And people who want you, they really love you. And then they also the opposite, that the people that don't want you, they don't want to deal with you. But that is okay, because if you're getting people who just half like you, they always give you trouble. You want people who are raving fans that they really like you. So you just get that very clear niche. Then the second piece is creating your customer avatar. So your customer avatar is also known as your ideal customer profile, and could also be known as your the customer personas. And with the avatar, you're specifying that these are the type of people we want, and this is what they're looking for. This is what they want to achieve, and this is their situation. So you're looking at demographics and psychographics and all of those things. But most importantly, instead of just looking at income brackets, to just say, okay, we want people in this income bracket versus that income bracket, it's not that all people in one income bracket like the same thing. So they're different. So you're looking at this. You have to describe the person as much as possible, so that you know where to find them, and you know the language to use when you are talking to them. And how you can do that: if you have an existing business, you can just look at your top clients, have conversations with them, and learn about them. You'll find that they have common threads. And then if you're starting out early, you at first you will just make assumptions to say our ideal customer is between these ages and does this and looks like this and aspires to be that. But as you're growing, it's important that you do that to profile your customer and know exactly who they are, because that impacts your messaging as well. Okay. Then define your target sales, your sales target. With sales target, a lot of you have done the exercise. Well done. So define your sales target. And you say, this is what we want to do. It's very important. Again, you can have them as three, like something to cover your costs or to maintain your status quo, or you can have the second layer, which is like the growth that you want, or you can go all the way to moonshot. So why it's important to balance this out is because if you just have moonshot and then you don't hit the moonshot, a lot of times you will get discouraged, feeling like you haven't achieved, when actually compared to where you were, you have achieved so much. And then also, if you just have just basic growth, you're not stretching yourself enough. And in this competitive market, you need to stretch yourself. That will help you to hit the numbers that you need. Okay? And then choose your marketing method. Your marketing method, these will be like different ways in which you're trying to attract customers. Is it digital? Is it offline? And are you going to use content? What type of content are you using, inbound or outbound? And we talked about this, that outbound is where you have activities going out, your marketing activities, your sales activities, you're reaching out to people. And then inbound is attracting people to you. So one way of doing inbound is where you have good content, creating lots of good content that you put on your website. And this content is what, if you write it well, is something that Google loves. So now Google actually loves websites that define things very clearly, as opposed to the old method where you just stuff your page with keywords, and then the crawlers now, they just look through that and they can't find anything relevant. Google doesn't like that. Whereas now, if you put in a search, you say, how do I create, or what is the definition of digital marketing? You'll find that instead of Google giving you a list of results, it'll actually give you a definition, and then there's a link to where that definition is. But it's because now with artificial intelligence, it reads a little bit more and understand that this is a more authoritative piece of content, and that's what you want. So searches have moved from people putting in a few words now to full sentences. So there's full sentence search. People, they don't, when we started out, the time I did computer science, that time, like, search engines couldn't read sentences. So you just put restaurant, Cape Town. But now you can say, what is the best restaurant in Cape Town? And then there's your results, like, these are the best restaurants in Cape Town, and then gives you the link. And then you can also use, for if you're using Google search and you're bidding for keywords, that is inbound. And then also, if you're putting out your ads where you want people to click on your ads, that is outbound. And you can decide which one you want based on your customer avatar, based on your goals and who you're going to reach. Then if you're in a super luxury market, you find that maybe you shouldn't be doing those the Facebook ads. You might need to do some high-end magazines or high-end places and areas, and finding the groups where people with lots of money hang out. Okay. And there's a process called demand generation. This is what I touched on, where you are having marketing activities that actually generate demand for you. So these would be, you're creating campaigns and creating content that help you start getting people to your site, and then you could give them something of value, which is like which can be something they download, something that they read, and people are happy to give you an email address for something that is of value. Then this is one of my favorites, forcing function. Okay, so forcing function is having something that forces you to do something, to commit. How many of you make your New Year's resolutions, and by the third of the month, by the fifth, all their resolutions are gone, right? How many of you make resolutions that by the 15th, they're gone, you forget about it? And or how many of you actually keep making resolutions and you don't really follow up with them? But something that will help you follow up on your resolutions or your plan, whatever you're working towards, is having a forcing function. So where you can ask, there's many ways you could do that. One is to just make a public announcement, tell people that this is what I'm going to do. So sometimes people do that on social media, like, oh, I'm going to do this. And if you announce and make a date, you are going to be forced to make it happen. Otherwise, you have to go back and say that, oh, sorry, it didn't happen. And this is also a good thing when you're a little bit in doubt. You could do that. And then also, another good forcing function is to set a date for something. So if you're saying, I'm going to launch my special program or my special product, or I'm going to do this by this date, you launch that and you make an announcement. And that's what we do. Pretty much we teach all our entrepreneurs, and that's what we do at Startup Circles. We set dates. Like, because sometimes you ask people saying, what are your plans for January? Like, I don't know. What are your plans for Feb? Like, I don't know. And what are the plans for next week? Like, I don't know. Okay, how about tomorrow, Saturday? The answer is still, I don't know, because they're waiting for things to happen. Whereas other people will say, this is what I'm planning to do tomorrow. And then they work things around that. We are going to meet on Wednesday, and then you push everything to honor that commitment you made. And these are the different methods that you could use as a forcing function. And something that is open pretty much to everybody is where you are part of a group, like the startup circles, where you are now, because you're part of the cohort, we will hold you accountable to say, what are your goals? What number do you want to hit? And we'll keep record of that. And then when it's when it's that time, we ask you, what have you done? Where have you been? What are the challenges? And then we help you reach those numbers. And if you're stuck, you reach out to the cohort before month end, before the reviews, to say, look, I'm stuck with this. This is not working out. And then we have office hours where we guide you to say, look, what are you struggling with? You say, I'm struggling with this. Can we help you with this? And then you do all the different things that you need in order to achieve your goals. So that's the power of forcing functions. Like, what is going to be your forcing function? What is going to help you hit your numbers? Yeah. And I'm going to talk about this. This is a bonus piece, which is code calling 2.0. Code calling, like the traditional code calling, is dead pretty much. Like, if you're trying to call somebody and you're just calling them, you don't know them, now there are apps that block. Like, I got like 4 rejected calls automatically because people are trying to call me. And we see that, like, with Truecaller, it helps with that. And now the phones are doing that. The newer phones just have that functionality of blocking out people that are reported as spam. But you start getting reported as spam if you're just calling people and trying to get them to buy things that they're not asking for. And that is the old method. And that method was, you pick up the phone and you talk for 1 minute, just talking about yourself and what you could do, and hoping that the customer doesn't get off the phone, doesn't hang up, and you don't give the customer a chance to answer you or to put in a word. So what has changed? What has changed is that now it's more conversational. So how do you do it? If you're reaching out to people online or calling them, what do you do? Okay, so what's very important is that you need to show that at least you know them. Okay? Show that at least you know them or you know something about them, and the conversation should be short and straight to the point. Sell the dream and ask for one thing. So, how do you know sure that you know something about them? Where you do a little bit of research. You've looked up the company, looked up the person, and look at what the company is doing. This particularly is important for B2B. Then, if you do call, you can ask to speak to the person that you looked up. And if they pick up, then you can ask them, you introduce yourself briefly. Hi, my name is Sandros from Startup Circles. I, I've come across your work where you're doing this and this and that. Is now a bad time to talk? Or is now a good time to talk? And most people will say, no, but I can spare a minute. you know, no, but I can spare a minute. And then you now mention what you have found out. Like, I found out that you're doing this, and I believe that our company would be in a position to add value to help you achieve this. Is this something that would interest you? And then because you've said the things that they're doing, they'll go, okay, yeah, go ahead. Then now you talk, but still you keep asking questions as opposed to just saying out a lot of things and hoping that they don't hang up. And then you can ask if you can set up an appointment with them or send them more information, but you ask for one thing only. So, and then you just ask for a small commitment. Don't ask them for too much at the beginning. And it's the same thing when you're reaching out to people on LinkedIn. The mistake a lot of people make is that when they're reaching out to people on LinkedIn, they just send a long email about themselves, right? Hi, I'm Sanders, I'm this and that. I've done this, I've done this. Look at our company, this and this and that and that and that. Can I have a meeting with you? Can I have coffee with you? Like, whoa, coffee is even like, like it's stages way beyond that first point. So at that first point, you just mention, hi, Razia, I've seen that you are into digital marketing training, and I've thought that Startup Circles could add value to what you're doing. Would that be of interest to you? And then it says yes or no, and then so it's there. Okay, what would you prefer as the next step? Can I call you? Can I email you? Can I call or email you? So it's just one decision that the person has to make. Email me or call me. And with that, when you ask just one question, it's easy for people to answer. If you ask so many questions, people just go, what do you want? Do you want a meeting? Do you want coffee? Do you want me to look at your website? Do you want me to see the attachment? Like, you're asking too much. I don't know you. Okay? So and as much as you think that that's what you should do, it's actually not the right thing to do at the beginning. And people like Michelle, who are in our programs, know that when you're looking at your pitch, we say, no, simplify it, so that it's just one clear thread that people would understand and say, oh, okay, yes, oh, I get what you're saying. So this is one, that's what you do. And that's the same thing that that's the same method I've used to reach out to amazing people. I'd reach out, say, hey, Nia, I've seen your work, I read your book, and I would like to interview you my for my company. And then I give proof to say, okay, I've spoken to this other person and this other person, and you can see this. So I'm asking that, can I interview you? And then I show proof that I'm legit, and the email is short, where somebody can say sure. If they say sure, you are very clear what they're saying sure to. But if you ask three things and they say sure, sure to what? Okay. And a lot of times when you ask too many things, people actually don't reply. So if you've been seeing that, there's like a lot of times you've been trying to pitch and people are not replying, it's because you're overwhelming them with a lot of information. And think of it this way. The way a lot of people pitch is like, I meet a woman, right? or you meet a man, or yeah, whatever, you meet somebody that you're attracted to, you're just like, hey, I really like you. Let's have lots of babies together. You know, it should be like, hey, weirdo, I don't know you. Why are you like we're talking babies already? You know, but that's what a lot of people do when they talk to people for the first time. Like when you're asking somebody you have never met before, you're asking for coffee. It's like asking for babies, you know, or you meet somebody for the first time and already you're saying, look, check out my website, do this, do that, do that. It's like, whoa, that's like high commitment. How about high first and like getting to know each other, you know? So it's the same thing that you don't go, hi, let's get married, let's have babies. It's like, hi, can we have a date? Or can I call you? Or can I, it's like something that's simple, a simple commitment that you ask for. And with this, you can create content. I mean, you can create a template that you use to write to different people. And this is very effective if you are looking at big deals. Then another way of doing that is that when you reach out, right? It helps when you reach high in an organization, and then whoever you know from that organization, if you have got a friend in common, a connection in common, you ask to say, hey, my name is Sanders from Startup Circles. I see that your company has got this program and we are doing this. Are you able to connect me to the right person I can talk to regarding this? So when they read the email, they say, oh, cool. They can just say, okay, talk to this person. And then they copy the person in the email. And when you do that, now you're not a cold call anymore, right? It says moved from, you got an intro, and it helps when you got that intro from somebody more senior. So reach out, like for me, I just got really super high. Like reach out to the CEO, and the CEO send me to somebody else. And now like the intro came from the CEO. Cool. So, but it's much harder depending on the size of the organization to reach out straight to the CEO. And even when you're talking to them, talk according to them and according to their value. Okay. And please please type some questions in the chat box. If you got any questions or any very specific questions, I'd like that you type into, you tell me those in the chat box. Okay, I'll just double check with my team if we have we have some questions. So while questions are popping up, I'm going to share the conversation we had with Mark and Lauren. Yeah, people went through our program as well. So Mark and Lauren have gone through a different program and they also got investment. So this is like the type of things we do, and we're very happy when people get that type of feedback. So please type your questions in the chat box and I'll get to the questions and I'll talk about how we can fast track.
We've started a business called Koa Academy. It's an online pod school, and our big focus is on building community between the learners and the school.
Great. How did you come up with the idea?
Oh, do you want to start that one? That's a long story. How long do we have?
So maybe we'll try and do a shorter version of the long one.
Yes.
Basically, yeah, Mark and I have both always been interested in online education, and for years and years we've been sort of discussing different ways of being able to do that. And then obviously over the last few months with COVID, both of our works have moved online educationally and given us a chance to experience some of that. And then a lot of just our dream of wanting to create something, an online learning platform. We've been sort of, that dream has just started becoming more and more of a reality, and realizing that now is a really good time just in the market for moving towards that. So then we
started looking into it. I think for me as well, I've always wanted to rethink education. Even long before COVID, you look at the way we do education, and we know that we're behind where we should be with how we do education. And people like the idea of online education. There's a lot of flexibility. There's a lot more freedom for families. But all of our conversations with kids, with parents, came back to not feeling connected to each other. So this lack of connection. So that sort of became our thing. It became the problem that we were trying to fix was, how do you do online education and help people feel connected?
Yeah. And I think it's connected both to each other as well as to the actual material that they've been taught on. So one of the moments that I feel like every time we talk about this or pitch this idea to anyone, the moment that people get like sparkly eyes is often when we start talking about the actual sort of educational model and piece around, like I think a lot of the project-based learning and like looking at ways to, rather than teach siloed subjects, but ways to bring it all together.
And what is your background, individually or together?
So my background's in nursing. So I started off as a nurse, but then I've been working in public health and healthcare. So I've never really worked. I haven't worked for long in hospitals or clinics, but has always been more at a systems level or starting projects. And then I've moved into education. So I do training of healthcare workers. And yeah, and recently moved that online.
And I'm a teacher.
Now tell us, just before getting into Startup Circles, what is going on and what led you to Startup Circles?
So just before Startup Circles, we were still bashing around the idea, just sort of every couple of weeks we'd mention it to each other and bring it up again, and maybe one day we should start a business together. We
then sat down and had a meeting of the two of us together. We made an agenda and minutes and all the rest, and it looked very different to how it looks at the moment. But we had a proper meeting.
It was a full-on meeting.
It was a full-on meeting where we'd put our first ideas down on paper and made our list of action points and when we were going to come back to them. And then we came across an opportunity for applying for seed funding, and as part of that was then linked to Startup Circles. And
so that moment where we saw that Enigma Ventures had opened up the Shift Fund, looking specifically to invest in companies which were starting out, sort of serving a post-COVID world, that made us go, ooh, like this is a great thing to apply for, just because the gap that we have between both our sort of our passions and our skill set, which is very much, the idea of building this thing, but then actually making it a business, is we know how to make that connection. And so
go ahead.
The real joy for us of being able to do the launch program is that it's connected our passions and our skills with practically how do you make that a reality in business? Like what's working, what's not? What are the things that we maybe would have spent 6 months dabbling with and stubbing our toe against and getting frustrated with, and this wise man that we met with every week from the Startup Circles would say, you guys are wasting your time on that, let it go. Like, this is where you need to sort of focus and spend your time.
Tell us about the Startup Circles experience. What was it like?
So we love that, speaking for myself, we love that it is sort of cut all the fat off. Let's get to the heart of,
what are you doing?
What are you doing? Why are you doing it? How's it going to work?
And just to say, our initial idea changed a lot from right at the beginning, and it was so helpful to keep needing to redefine what it is that we are going to be doing, and hearing from other businesses. Like that was really helpful, is hearing other people talking about what it is that they're creating and sort of what their journey's been like and their experiences. is really helpful in just shaping your thinking. And you hear someone say, almost like, they throw something else out in the group, and it just gets you thinking in a different way. And even though sort of each business is so different, there are many of the core concepts that are, it's really helpful hearing from others.
And knowing that and being comfortable with that, and also being smart about how we prioritize things, how much we spend time on things. Something that actually I think it was in one of the first sessions with Startup Circles was how are you using your personal networks to take weight off of your shoulders? So what are you doing yourself that you could just ask a friend to do for you or a family member to do for you, and that was very helpful.
And I think one of the other things was also just right at the beginning, that piece on going through what your personal values are and building that in. So like very practically for us, like family is like top priority for us. And so things like we would sit down at the beginning of each week and plan out our week, and when are we going to spend time on this, and then also schedule into our calendar. Well, like every Thursday night is we have our date night, and we make sure that we have time where we don't talk about COA, we don't talk about work at all, and make sure that we then spend time together and actually sit down and have a meal together and that sort of thing. So that's been really important to us over the last while, and I think will continue to be what we prioritize moving forward. And then again, like just making sure at the time with the kids we're there and we focus. And it was quite difficult sometimes to not talk about COA when like the kids are around and that, but we try to, when we're there, we focused on family and kids. So that piece on just knowing your values right at the beginning and then making sure that you do. And for us, I think that's the create time place, is make sure you create time for those things that
are important,
that are really important.
What would you say to someone who's considering joining, but they're on the fence right now?
Do it. Sign up. Do it.
The value of how far we've come in the last, I don't even know how long it's been. Is it just over 2 months?
Like, again, it's years worth of experimentation and fiddling and failure and condensed into 2 months, which is amazing.
So we had friends where, and like obviously with sort of being COVID season and lockdown, that we haven't seen a lot of over the last while. And so they didn't necessarily know that we were doing Startup Circles, but they know because we've been talking about online learning for, anyone that's close to us knows that that's what we've been interested in. And we've been mulling over ideas. When we started doing our first marketing pitch of like sending out our website, we obviously spammed like a lot of our friends and family and sent it to them. And we had so many people come back to us go like, is this you guys?
What is this?
How on earth did you get that set up? Like they thought that we were sharing someone else's
promoting
thing
somebody else.
And they couldn't believe the amount that we'd managed to do in that period of time. And
also I think like the other thing I really appreciate about Startup Circles is it's very clear that Startup Circles practices what they preach. So we see in the way that Startup Circles works that this is not pie in the sky theory. This is on the ground how we work, and it's effective.
Brilliant. And second last question. Tell us about your challenge around when you were planning to launch and when I challenged you to launch sooner.
No, thanks for that, Sandra. You gave us sleepless nights and cold sweats. So I think the drive to action something and get people on board, the word that is used so often, traction, whatever that looks like in your business, to get that earlier in any way that you can, it does a lot. It's exhausting in the moment, and you feel like there are 20 things that you need to do before you can start getting quality traction, we need to hire a graphic designer, and we need to have a quality website, and we need to, have our curriculum developed, and we need to, but actually, what we need to do is we need to get this out there, and we need people saying, yeah, I'm keen for that. And as soon as you have that, it does two things. Firstly, it builds your own sense of confidence that actually people are buying into this. People want this. I'm going in the right direction. So it validates your ideas, and it tells you whether you're on the right track. Because if you throw it out there and nobody's interested, then you've got some reshaping to do. But the other thing it does, obviously, is other people notice and they buy in as well. If you can say to, whether it's people who you want to make sales with or get investment from, to be able to say, hey, other people are getting on board, come and join us. That's much more powerful than, please won't you join us? We just need one person to come and give us investment. Or
super proud of you, and congratulations.
Really appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Excellent. How cool is that? So Mark and Lauren started, and they're running, and the challenge was getting started and also to get to sell stuff. So to get traction and to show that their business is worth something. So there's showing you examples of people at different levels. The other people are established businesses, and people like Asha Dudia, one of the leading law firms in Zambia, and working with us to say, okay, how do we improve our sales? How do we improve our marketing? And in law, you're not allowed to advertise. How do you do it? What are the methods? And we help with strategies there. And it's the same questions that we got from a medical doctor who's saying, look, my industry, we're not allowed to advertise, right? And it makes sense, right? So how do you do it? So the methods that we share on how you actually can do that. Okay, that's what that's what it is. Cool. There's a question from Razia Pillay. When you've led the horse to the water, how do you have a confident conversation about costs? I always freeze when people say, okay, perfect, I'm so interested. How much will it cost me? Cool. So you need to have that cost conversation on your own first. You need to be clear on what the cost is. So decide your cost, and you can use the different methods of deciding what the cost is, right? What's the price, what's the investment, what's the cost that you're going to put something out for, okay? And excuse me. And say, what's the cost? How much should it go for, and what do you want people to pay for that particular item? And when you look at your costs, the question is, do you believe them, right? Do you believe the cost that you're asking people to pay or to buy? What is that for you? Excuse me one bit. Sorry about that. Cool. So when you're asking people about the cost, you need to be convinced about it. To say, this is what I believe is the cost. So if you're not very sure, it becomes very difficult, because you're not very sure of the value you're adding or what the people should pay, and you're also trying to negotiate on the spot. So have the prices. Then another tip that works is, if you have your prices already written out, it makes it super easy for you to just say, these are our prices. But I know that with that, a lot of people then leave the meeting saying, I'll send you an email with the prices. Don't do that. Just have the prices ready. And then when you say the price, just keep quiet. It's interesting, actually, because when you're uncomfortable, you want to talk and talk again, and you don't give the customer a chance to say what they think. So if they ask, you say the price. This is the price. And then you pause, okay? And you'll be amazed. Then they'll start to talk. That's how you do it. Okay. Cool. Any other questions? Thanks, Rose Kennedy, enjoying this. Sandy Soul. Awesome. Thank you. Team is in. Excellent. Cool. All right. Now, what if I told you that there is a method of fast tracking this and method to which you could accelerate your revenues, and that you can get this in a team, or you can get that with a lot of support? What if I told you there is that method? Okay, let me answer Sandy So's question before I continue. Okay, Sandy is saying, how do you get over realizing that you undercharged for a service you provided because at the time you didn't know better? But now you know better. How do you turn that feeling into a positive? That happens, but you need to know what your prices are, because expensive and cheap are very relative. For certain people, it's cheap. For other people, it's expensive. And then sometimes when you mention your price and somebody says, okay, and they just pay you, you're like, oh, did I undercharge? So it's the same thing for us. Like our programs, for certain people, they're too cheap. For other people, it's very expensive. And when I was starting out in my business, it was tempting to think that, oh, then I shouldn't have charged that. I should have done this. But then you move, then it doesn't appeal to other people. So it's okay to just decide on your cost. And then sometimes you undercharge and you lose money. It's part of your school fees. So in a lot of scenarios for all of you, I encourage you that it's better to start high and reduce than to start low and increase. We have made that mistake before, and then also, but we've also adjusted. And the other times we've started from like high and then dropped. So, but it's better and easier to start high, and then you can give people discounts, and you can give people special deals. And when you write a quotation, you say this is the price, and they negotiate. If you say you charge 20,000, you're saying our price for this is $20,000, and they say, oh no, we can't because of this and that and that. You say, okay, cool, we'll give you a discount. And they say we can only do 2,000. So cool. So you give them 18,000 as a discount, but you put it in the invoice. Then they know that it's a discount, as opposed to changing the price and then in the invoice you got 2,000. The next time you can't go back to the original price. So even on your website, you can have like price, then discount, and now this. It's easier, and people know that this is the starting point, and you can move them up. Okay. Cool. That's where it gets awkward, when I drop the price and wait. So I fumble when they ask to negotiate. It's another whole story. So with this, just believe in the value you are offering and be comfortable with that. And also not to be very desperate about a sale. But still, when somebody's saying price, it's usually when they're not seeing how to help them. Okay. So that's what usually happens. Cool. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been great. I've enjoyed actually sharing this knowledge with you, and having this conversation with all of you from different cities, different countries. And if you found it useful, please type 1 in the chat box. I'm so excited that you all stayed to the end of our 4-day program together. And now I'd like to tell you about an opportunity where we can help you fast track. And how do you fast track? So we've got a new program, a program called Founder Circle Program. Founder Circle Program is a coaching program aimed at helping you generate the revenue that you want. So people that we've worked with on a similar program, they've actually doubled 10x their results. That's what they've done. And so think about what you would want in terms of your revenue, and then what that would do for you. How important is that? Life next year, whether it's January or December, and things are shifting, you're not now guessing anymore on your work, and you're also not sure anymore about what you're going to do. And if you're talking to a digital marketing expert, you know what to ask them, and you can guide them on the goals. And also, maybe when you hit your numbers, it's also pride to your spouse or to your siblings, saying, finally, I've got it. And so for me personally, there was a period when I was going through all this, the entrepreneur process, and saying, no, one day I'm going to make it. One day I'm going to make it. Like, where people feeling like, really, you've been saying this for a very long time. But what I did, for me, what changed was to get onto a program. That was a stretch for me at the time. It was a stretch, big stretch. After the program, I struggled to kind of like pay for the program. But then when I implemented that, then the program paid for itself multiple times over. And this is the opportunity that we've got that I'd like to share with you. And so far, I've worked with different entrepreneurs over the years. I've been an entrepreneur pretty much all my life. I've been running Startup Circles full time from 2009, and then I started Startup Circles in 2009, and then been working with entrepreneurs full time from 2012. I've been to working with entrepreneurs from 22 countries. I've been to 22 countries, and now the entrepreneurs that we work with are from over 50 countries. And seeing that there's El Gato here from Mexico, so that I was in Mexico, Cancun in 2016, like beautiful place, and those are the type of things that we do, and the type of opportunities that that I've had, and then the privilege of working with different people. So this program is a 12-month program. 12-month program where we meet weekly, and you meet with me and my team and other experts that we bring in that guide you on the different selling methods. But the most important thing is that we hold you accountable and we guide you on your hitting your revenue goals. So which was the same thing for me. I was part of a mastermind where when people were mentioning figures, like, what are those figures? Like, the figures were in a different league, which I felt like it wouldn't work for me being in Zambia at the time. And also it's like, oh no, it wouldn't work for me in Cape Town. Maybe it would work for somebody who lives in Europe, or it would work for somebody who lives in the US and all of that. And I had my own objections. And I know some of the objections, like some people have been asking, saying, how would this work for me? Would a program like this work for me? Is it possible for me to increase my prices? How do I differentiate? And the answer is yes, it's possible to differentiate, and yes, it's possible to stand out. So if you think about it, all of you in your cities that you live, right? And let's talk about a castle light. Like, how much is a castle light? And the answer is, it depends. So in certain places here, like in Cape Town, you find a castle light for 10 Rand, and another place is 15, another place is 20, other places 50, 60, 75 Rand for the same thing. Like, what is the difference? So this is just showing that it's not really the price, it's really like where you are. It's not it's really where you are selling. So the pond that you are fishing in. So if you're kind of like struggling to hit even like the smaller numbers, we might help you to shift the pond which you're fishing. So the pond that you're fishing in determines the fish that you catch, and then the type of bait that you use as well determines the type of fish that you get. Okay, so what you get on this program, you get the revenue acceleration support, you get world-class coaching and mentoring, you get group coaching monthly, then you get exclusive events with global founders and investors, and the most important thing, traction accountability. This is important for your own sales, but also when you're selling for your investors. Your investors want to see growth. So companies which are listed on the stock market needs to report and show growth every quarter. And it's the same thing for entrepreneurs. Every quarter, you need to show growth. A principle that one of my mentors taught me, which I've used and which I use with all the people I work with on a program like this, is you need to increase your salary every quarter. How cool is that? Increase your salary every quarter. And with that, like with this program, we've structured that quarterly we'll be having reviews. So you have your annual target, you break it down into quarters, and then when you hit those numbers every quarter, you get a salary bump. So when you're thinking like that, the year is compressed into a quarter. And if you don't hit your numbers, you got another quarter. So you get 4 opportunities to hit your numbers. And that's why we make this program a 12-month program. And it's for people who want to commit to a longer process. So we're not promising get rich quick scheme or just do this and magically something happens. There is work, but we guide you with the work. And then we also provide that support network where other people are doing similar things. Then we support you with some of the tools that we've got. And then in the community of like-minded entrepreneurs on both our Facebook group and the new WhatsApp group, which is specifically for hitting these numbers. And as part of Startup Circles, then you have, Founder Circles, Startup Circles, then you have access also to our annual retreats. So we usually have 1 or 2 every year, and we spend time together, and a few other people that are coming in, we open it up, but it's specially for people on the program. This was with a team, a few people that were game changers who were in Mauritius, which was pretty cool. We were there for a week. It was amazing. And again, this is with the people that we went with to Silicon Valley. Again, game changers. And when you go into a place like that, your mind is not the same. Okay? So, guess the question that a lot of people now think like, how much? The question that makes Razia freeze, right? Like, how much? How much is this? Well, before I tell you how much it is, how much do you think a program like this would cost? Where you're learning from experts. I'll give you an example. These are some of the experts who have worked with. This is Steve Blank, a genius. He's a guru. Silicon Valley is known for. He's the mentor. Eric Ries's mentor. He's the one that talked about this. He says that a startup is a temporary organization looking for a predictable, scalable business model, and the lean concept he came up with that, and Eric Ries popularized the term and wrote a book about it. And this is Andy Raskin. So Andy Raskin is a pro when it comes to creating stories and narratives that put your separate your company. Remember, we talked about if you're competing on price, it means you're not differentiated enough. So what helps you differentiate is the story that your product tells. And how do you communicate that story so that people, if they see two similar things, they choose you over the other one. That's the story. Yeah, and that's the power of story. And we have people like this. Then we had also Sriran Krishnan. He has worked with 2 unicorns, expanding big companies. So 2 companies that he's been part of have become billion-dollar companies. So he worked for Spotify and helped build it from 6 to 60 markets. So which is amazing. He understands like how do you grow at that scale. He worked for Tinder as well. So thinking about how do you find product market fit with Tinder and growing Tinder globally. Okay, so those are the type of people we invite into some of our sessions. That you listen to somebody who's done something at that scale, it expands your mind. It's like, whoa, you're talking billions? Like, my brain would give an error too, right? Like, system error. Like, how is that even possible? And Nia El, he talks about how you can create products that people love to use all the time. So he explained to us like programs, like how how you people when they get up they will be checking YouTube all the time, or they're checking Instagram all the time. Like, what are the things that go into that process of how do you create a product that people want to use all the time? And these are some of the people, again, like we listen to and have conversation with. And this is another amazing human being, DHH. He's the co-founder of Basecamp, and he's the inventor of the programming language called Ruby on Rails. We are having a conversation with him next week, by the way. And he is an amazing person because they built a company from scratch. They didn't raise any money and build it to a company now that's worth billions of dollars. And we're talking about just how do you build a company like that without raising any money. So these are just examples. Then also as part of startup circles and part of a founder circle, you have access to our investors. Okay, access to our investors, and these are some of the examples. Those of you who are there here from the beginning have seen this email, and there are a lot of other emails that I keep getting from Startup Circles. It says, "Hey, Alexander, congrats to hear that you're venturing into startup education and acceleration. Not sure if you're referring to another." He mentions his name in your email. Let us know if anything interesting comes across your desk. We'd love to be able to invest in them. We are currently looking for freight, logistics, and healthcare startups in Africa at seed and Series A stage, and we prefer startups serving Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, Egypt, Ethiopia. We're looking to write checks of between $250 and $2 million. So the people who have money that they need to invest. This is another email. Hi, Sanders, how are you doing? How's the Startup Circles initiative going? We currently have some funds to deploy, and we're wondering if you've come across any post-revenue tech businesses that would be of interest to us. Would appreciate your introductions. Cool. How much do you think that is worth? Okay, we give you access to all of that information, and you get guidance. So, any guesses what a program like this? How much would a program like this cost? It's per month or per year. Okay, Kapasa says it depends on where you are in the world. However, the price is determined by the paradigm of the seller. Hashtag Kapasa Chanda 2020. Cool. So we're going to add a lot of bonuses, right? So one bonus is the conversion rate optimization review. This you get a report that shows you how your website performs in the eyes of your users, and you also know what to do to optimize your website for higher conversion and reduce bounce rate. This bonus is worth $500. And then search engine content strategy. This is creating content that Google loves, what I mentioned. And then owning a niche when it comes to search. Again, this bonus alone is $500. Then those of you say, look, I don't have a marketing plan, I don't know where to start, how to do it. We've got a template. Okay, we've got a template, and we've got sales plan templates, and then we got LinkedIn intro scripts, cold calling scripts, customer avatar templates, all of these that help you to just create, to get a lot of these things going as quickly as possible. So I know one of the objections that a lot of people have been giving is like, okay, no, I don't know where to start, and how do I do this? And then those of you who actually feel like, look, I just want to know how it works, but I'll have other people on my team do it. Again, this is really a good opportunity for you. Then we have the digital marketing checklist, that the things you should look at, like what is important. Then the questions you should ask your digital marketing experts, worth 150. And then we'll also give you our standalone program that helps you create a pitch deck and pitch investors. It's known as How to Pitch Investors course, and this is a $37 course. And on top of that, you also get Amazon Web Services credits. They give you $5,000 worth of credits for 2 years. Freshworks gives you $40,000 worth of credits, and then HubSpot gives you 90% discount on HubSpot. So HubSpot would cost $900 a month, and you'd get it for $90 a month. Like, just that alone is huge. Michelle, I know you asked for this. I'll get to answering you. It's been quite busy. But yeah, cool. And so all of these bonuses, the value is over $20,000. Okay. But good news, you're not going to pay $20,000. You're not going to pay $12,000. You're not going to pay $1,000 per month. You're only going to pay $97 per month. That's what your investment is to join the Startup Circles Startup Circles Founders Circle. And so with this program, once again, you're going to get to network with like-minded entrepreneurs. Then you get guidance. You get all of those bonuses, and we help you. We hold you accountable. You listen to other people already doing millions, and other people starting. Other people want to do millions and stuff. And so all of that, the cross-pollination of ideas is incredible. And this, we put this in different prices, in different currencies, so people know. You don't have to do the conversion. Like, this is what you're going to pay in your currency. I'm sure I haven't added all the currencies, but this is what you get. And then there is no risk in that you can cancel at any time. And if you cancel at any point and you say, look, it's not working for me, or I'm not getting results, so I'm not seeing how I'm going to get this, we will cancel you at any time. And if you ask for a refund, we'll give you a refund. But we are very confident. We are very, very confident that you will get value, that you will at least get back the money that you've invested in yourself. So what is this? What is this worth for you? What are your financial goals right now? How much money do you want to make next year? And with guidance, you can hit that number. So this one, if you join and you get our monthly membership of $97 per month, obviously we're expecting that you are in the game to make way more than that. We should make at least $1,000 a month. So we are not trying to make it like a super exclusive program for now, because we believe this year a lot of people have struggled because of COVID. So hence we're giving it for $97. Otherwise, this program is worth $1,000 a month. Then there is the early sign-up bonus, which is refining your customer pitch. And I will do that session with you to help you refine your customer pitch. Cool. So what you can do right now is go up to the concierge page. We have opened the program. We have opened the program, and we'll take a few people. And obviously this is not for everyone. It's really for some people, the people feeling like, look, I think I'm ready. I've got so much value, but I also believe that if I stay in the right circles, I'll hit my numbers even better, even faster, and learning from other people who've done it. And that is what we're offering here. And then the program is not open indefinitely. It's open for the next 5 days. Then we close. When we close, then we'll restart next year sometime. But so there is limited space in which you can join the program. And then this year, when you join the first, after next week, we're going to have our first coaching call where we're going to help you plan out your year for success. And this is a process that is a game-changing process. It's very different from the way the traditional companies do it. Okay. And so once again, there is no risk. You can just decide like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do, and give it a shot. Cool. I'll take questions. Oh, there's a question from Rose Kennedy. Rose, cash discount for cash. We won't be able to collect the cash. So the program, we only take the payments with cards. Then it's cheaper because cash has got a cost as well. Okay. And then another question is that how do we meet? How does the session take place? We do them online. So we do them online. You have your access to the tracking sheet. Then we have our meetings online, and we guide you through that. And then the exclusive bonuses or exclusive sessions are hosted by hosted online by us. Great. Kapasa says, I have a team. Can you work with us? Yes, Kapasa. It will be only that it will be you who will be attending the coaching. Why we do that is because we want to talk to the same person, and also remember it's a group of people doing the same thing. So you lose your connection that you have if it's different people coming every time. Michelle's asking to clarify, this program starts next year, right? It actually starts after next week, but after next week is the first one where we have the session that sets you up for 2021. So it starts December, then ends. We end next year the same time. Cool. Let's see, any other questions? Okay, you should see the link. I'll ask my team to share the link in the groups, both on YouTube and on Facebook. Cool. Okay, brilliant. Cool. Any other questions? Cool. So with this program, again, it's really we're saying that we help you hit your targets, and we teach you the modern methods of hitting your revenue targets, and the combination of both your sales, your marketing, and your customer success. And then think about how your life would be transformed when you hit those numbers, or when you start hitting those numbers, or when you just know how to start hitting those numbers. Big thing. Okay. Cool. Matilda says, thank you for the link because the links okay, cool. All right. Cool. We'll send the links as well. So look out check out your mailbox. Like, look out for the email from us. We're going to send that to you, and we will send that to you, and then we'll be happy to have you on the program. And then remember, there's the early sign up bonus that we'll have a one-on-one session to help you refine your pitch. And there are different types of pitches you can have. You have a pitch for your one sentence. I mean your 3-sentence pitch. Then you can also have a short slide deck that is used to pitch. Then you can have a longer one. And then a lot of people make the mistake of doing their pitches in the old traditional way, which is they start out about them. There is a company logo, then they say our mission, our vision, we are this, we are that, and then you go to what do you do for the customers. Like, no, you have it in reverse. So for us, with the method that we're going to show you is how to just we use what is known as hot cognition, like how you get started with impact, because we understand how the brain works, that if something is not interesting, it ignores it. If something is threatening, again, like it's alert, but it's like, I want to fight it. So how do you present something where somebody just, when you start speaking, they see your slides already, they go, oh, this is interesting, and they pay attention. And there are also methods on how, when you're pitching, you're presenting, that you don't get people to object right away. Then they start saying, but that number doesn't look good. How about this? How about that? How about that? Like turning a warm, enthusiastic presentation into a cold presentation where you're now defending yourself. Cool. Fantastic. So we'll share the link, and we'll share that on the groups as well, in the email. And we're looking forward to having a few people on this program that we are going to work with to help them hit their numbers, to hit the numbers of dreams, and finally, like, to change how your business operates. Because in this modern world, there's a lot of competition. How do you stand out? And then also, the information that you find is outdated. So how do you hit different numbers? What do you do differently? Okay. Cool. Okay. We'll send the link via email. Cool. All right. It's been great. Any other questions? So the question then I'll ask is there anything preventing us from working together? Remember the pitch, the closing that I shared with you. Okay. So, and then what will prevent you from getting started right away? Okay. So we're getting started right away, and we'll close the program will close next week, and then we get started. But the session we have in December is the one that sets you up for 2021, and then you set your goals for what you're going to hit in January. And we're going against that mindset of forget December, forget January, then maybe February when people start having money again. But that's not true. People have money in December and January and they start spending that. So how can you be part of that, or how do you get people to channel some of that cash to your business and to not think that, okay, we'll wait till March? Because again, it's a mindset shift. Okay. And then also, what are the activities you can put in place now? If you're taking a break, do you have your revenue machine running? All of those things we're going to cover in the first session, so that you can have things that you can have your lead generation methods working automatically, and the type of tools you can use for that. And it takes you to, when you come back from holiday, you have people waiting for you. Cool. Awesome. Great. Kapasa will keep your place. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much, Jessica Reese. Thank you, Matilda. Oh, cool. All right. So there's another question from Matilda saying, is PayPal the only way of making a payment? Yes, but with PayPal, you can pay with your card. So PayPal is being used as a payment gateway. So you don't need to send money to PayPal, but you can click on the PayPal link and then use your credit card or debit, or your check card to sign up for the program. Cool, excellent, Kapasa. Ready to get started right away. Yes, it's not, the program doesn't cost millions. Excellent. All right, thank you, Jessica, and thank you so much. Really inspiring. I'm looking forward to next steps. Cool. Cool, Kapasa. We'll keep your space. Excellent. Cool. All right. Any other questions that anybody might have now before we close? Let me just check with my team if there's any other questions that I haven't covered. Cool. Okay, we covered all the questions. That's cool. So the most important question to think about right now is that, what would my life be like if I know how to maximize my revenue? What would my business be like if I know how to maximize and generate more revenue? So something that we talk about here a lot is that money attracts money. It's like when you don't have money and you go to the bank saying, I want a loan, they usually say, no, you need to show us you don't need the money. That's when you get the money. Same thing with investment. Some of you are trying to raise investment. How the quickest way to raise investment is when you're already making money, and you're making lots of money. It's easier to raise more money. So money attracts money. And then it's like a restaurant which is empty. Nobody really wants to go to an empty restaurant. They go to a restaurant that's full. Same thing, if you have a physical store, people like to go to a store that's got people, or a place where they're feeling that other people have got. So this is what we're gonna help you to do, saying how do you get to build trust? How do you get people know about you, but also trust to say, okay, this company is legit, these people are legit. That's what we cover in all of this. So, and then the other question is people saying, okay, I can't afford this right now. But think about it in terms of, instead of saying I can't afford this right now, think of it in terms like, what can I do to afford this? And then you can set yourself a goal to say, okay, I'm paying $97. At least I should make at least double, or just make the money back. But then again, if your business is struggling to make $97, I think that's why you need this program, right? You need this course because it will help you shift that mindset and will hold you accountable. So that's what the purpose of this program is. Like, it's a program that actually doesn't cost you anything apart from your time and commitment. In terms of money, you will make this money very, very quickly. It's the same thing for me when I decided to go onto a program which was a little stretch, but they were teaching me methods on how to generate more revenue and with the things that I was already doing. So it wasn't like they're selling me something different. It was like, how do you improve your business? And that's how I've built a company now, which has students from all across the continent, and we have students from Europe and the US as well. So that's what it is. Okay, cool. All right. So looking forward to having you on the program, and remember that the offer is just for the next 5 days. Then we'll close, and then we will reopen again much later. But this is an opportunity where you could end the year strong and start 2021 even stronger. So thank you very much, everybody. It's been great. And just let us know, reach out to us if you have any other questions, and look forward to having you on the program. Thank you. Thank you very much. Cheers. Have a good evening, everybody, and have a great weekend. And this is one of the best decisions you're going to make, and I am sure of it. So thanks, Matilda. Thanks, Kapasa. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Jessica. Thanks, Fana. Thanks. Thanks, Rose Kennedy. Thanks, Razia. Thanks, Paul Sijabuliso. Cool. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, team. Cool. Looking forward to having you. El Gato. Thank you very much. Joined from Mexico. Josie. Thank you. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, David. Awesome. All right. Petrus. Thank you very much. Paul. Thank you very much. It's been real. So, we'll look forward to having you on the program. And we'll share the link again. We'll send it in the email to you. Cool. Thank you very much. Cheers.